A wonderful morning to all participants present here. I welcome all for today's webinar on choosing right career, jointly organized by Rush and Bodh Bridge, facilitated by Dr. Priya Dakshini. Let me take you through Rush. Youngrush.com is a successfully growing career platform in India exclusively for internships and fresher jobs. Youngrush.com is an integrated real-time internship job-driven platform developed by seasoned human resource veteran. Youngrush currently has a network of over 10,000 recruiters, 145,000 startup and SME founders, and 10,000 plus human resource professionals. Daily about 150 new internship fresher jobs are curated in our portal. An average of 4,500 plus internships and fresher jobs are curated in a month. Our career portal currently has approximately 1,300 plus visitors per day. That's about Youngrush. Let me take you through Bodh Bridge. Bodh Bridge is an educational services company with a core objective of serving students in higher educational institutions by providing affordable, high quality, knowledge based services to catalyze effective and efficient learning. My Choice, My Future (MCMF) is one of a kind self assessment tool developed indigenously to fit the students and youngsters in India. MCMF helps students, youngsters understand their personality better to make an informed career choice. MCMF is well suited for high school, higher secondary, college students, and working professionals seeking a change in their career. MCMF helps students, youngsters understand his or her strength, passion, and interest, and this will minimize their stress in studying and working. Now, let me introduce the speaker of the day. Dr. Priya Dakshini holds a Ph.D. in Organization Behaviour from IIT Madras. She has her master's and undergraduation in psychology. Her Ph.D. research focused on the influence of people's practice on the financial performance of the company. She is one of the authors of MCMF, My Choice, My Future, a psychometric career assessment tool popularly recommended and used by school students and career counselors. Dr. Priyadharshini is a recipient of the prestigious DAAD fellowship and has spent time studying, researching, and teaching in Germany. She has 10 plus years of experience in academia and industry. Apart from being part of Team MCMF, Dr. Priya is the head of People and Culture at one of India's largest omni-channel companies, Tendercuts. Over to you, Dr. Priya.
Thank you, Ajay. Good morning, everyone. Can you all see me? Yes. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for the wonderful introduction, Ajay. And good morning, everyone. I'm not able to hear anyone.
Morning, madam.
Good morning. Good morning, all. So Ajay has already introduced me, but I would like to know the audience for the day. Can at least one or two volunteer and tell me what you're doing, what's your background? So it'll help me set the context clearly. Someone? Raghav? Sorry, I'm just calling out the name which I can see right in front of me. Anyone can volunteer and tell me what's the background so that I get a general understanding of the audience. Anyone?
Ma'am, I am Hello?
Yes, please go ahead, Pradeep.
I am Parmeshwar Radya.
Oh, okay. I see it as Pradeep though.
Ma'am, Pradeep.
Okay.
I have completed in diploma in fire and safety.
Okay.
3 years experience, ma'am.
Okay. So
Safety.
you're working somewhere now?
Ma'am.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Thank you for volunteering and being the first person. So that's nice. Anybody else who would like to introduce yourself to the group? Come on. You don't have to switch on your video. I understand most of you are uncomfortable, but that's perfectly fine. Anusha?
Hi, this
Yeah,
is
please.
Balak. I believe you can see miniature in my name.
Miniature toys.
Yes, of course. Okay, see, basically, I'm an experienced professional. So
Okay.
I got 16 years of experience. But however, I got to see a lot of people come to me for a lot of career and job related advice.
Right.
So I'm also interested in a few of the traditional thing, but I always look for something innovative and new things so
All
that
right.
I can guide right.
Okay.
Or if there is great opportunity, even I thought of getting part of it.
Okay.
As that, I work for major companies like Tesco, IBM, HP,
All right.
currently with the technologies.
Okay. Great. That's good. So pretty heavyweight. That's nice. Thank you. Anybody else? We'll wait for one more person. We'll make it 3. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Deepak. Ashwin. Ashruth. I'm going to call all the names that I can see. Somebody who can volunteer. Ashwin, yes?
Yes, good morning, ma'am. This is Ashwin here,
Yeah.
and
Good morning.
I'm working as assistant manager, safety EHS department in Record Industries Limited, Oregon.
Okay.
I have around 5 years of experience, and I was looking forward to get a glance in how I can proceed even more further through this session.
Okay, great. That's good. That makes it 3. And thank you, all of you, for coming forward and being a sport and introducing yourself. So I will share my screen and let's go ahead with the presentation. Is my screen visible to all? Is my screen visible? Yeah. Yeah, good. So yes, as you all know, the session is choosing the right career. And Ajay has already introduced me. So I have a background in psychology and also hold a Ph.D. in organizational behavior. And my primary interests are how people and how their behavior outplay in the organizational setup. I focus on assessments and people development, and also in people and culture. So these are my core areas. And before we get into the session itself, I request all of you to keep a paper and pen handy. Can you all take a paper and pen? Let me know. Yeah, let me know when you're ready so I can continue. Ready? You've taken your paper and pen?
Ma'am.
Yes, great. So now that you have a paper and pen, please write down 3 career choices of yours. What are the 3 professions that you would like to take up? It can be anything. I would like to be a doctor. I would like to be a lawyer. I would like to be a journalist. It can be anything. My understanding is that the audience background is varied. Some of you are already working, some of you are seasoned professionals, some could be really fresher, or some could be even just school-going students. No matter what your background is, I've kept this presentation really simple so that all of us can understand. So I'd like to start by requesting you all to write any 3 career choices of yours. Let me know when you're done. You can put choice 1, something, choice 2, something, and choice 3, something. Done? So I want the entire session to be interactive. Please don't hesitate. You can stop me whenever you want to ask questions, or alternatively, you can hold on all your questions till the end. I'm comfortable both the ways, but I want it to be very, very interactive. You might know a lot more than I do, so you can always pitch in and give in your thoughts as well. Have you written down your 3 career choices? Yes, no.
Yes.
Great. Great. So all those who are still thinking, please make sure that you write down the 3 career choices, because we'll come back to this page again. Okay. All right. So when we are choosing the right career, first thing is to understand how is the job market now. So when we say now, I'm going to consider this post-pandemic and, kind of 2022. So how is the job market now, and specifically in India? So I am going to give you data and facts. It's not like what is my understanding, but what is understood and what is the prevailing and what is published. So that's the information that I'm going to give you. So if you look at the job market for the first quarter of January of 2022, there is an increase in 49% of the employment rate. That is, the organizations are very, very actively hiring people. So there's a survey which is done by one of the leading manpower company in India called the Manpower Group, and they have taken the survey or reached out to close to 3,000 companies, and they've asked, what do you think is the hiring trend? Do you think as a company you're going to hire more people? Do you think as a company you're going to lay off more people? It's only for this year. So out of it, 64% of the companies have said that, no, we are going to increase our hiring trend. And out of which 15% have said that there could be a slight, decrease in hiring, but it is still going to be steady. And only 1% of the companies said that, we are not very sure how it's going to turn out. But overall, 64% of the companies out of 3,000 who participated, they have said that we are in a good trend when it comes to the job market in India this year. And if you look for the next quarter, which is from July to September, they are saying that it is huge, that it is nothing when compared to the previous years. So it's on the 8-year high, which means the hiring spree is more, and the companies are really interested in hiring talent. There could be a lot of questions around this. Once we complete this, you can always ask me questions. So if you look, the job market itself is very, very bullish, which is a good trend. Okay. So if you look this now, in our country, when we divide our country into 4 zones like North, South, West, and East, how are each of these regions performing? So here, I request you to mute so that it's comfortable for the entire session. Yeah, thank you. So year on year, which if you look, in these 4 regions, there is a significant increase or a positive trend when it comes to hiring. The same with quarter over quarter. So we have now already finished a couple of quarters, and the trend is in a very, very good note. So this is the overall image of India when it comes to the employment. And when I say this is post-COVID, we are talking about 2022. So it's in a good trend. Now, we want to know, okay, the companies are hiring. That's very, very good. So what are the industries that are really looking forward to hire people? And what is one role that they are really interested, or what is one role that is in demand? Can any of you name some of the industries that you know of? I'm sure most of you are working in some industry. Can you name some industries? IT, very good. IT. Oh, yeah. Really? Oh, that's sad. Oh, 1 minute. I've stopped my screen sharing, and let me share it again. Is it visible now? Have I changed? I've changed. Can you see now? Oh, I changed to the next slide. In-demand industries and roles. Are you able to see? No?
No.
Oh. Can somebody help me? What I'm doing wrong? Oh, did it? Okay, let me try again. It is on the slide mode. It is on the presentation mode. Now, okay, so there seems to be some, okay, lag. Okay, so now it is in-demand industries and roles. Next, when I change, if it's not changing, let me know so that probably I'll not put it on the slide mode. I'll just present just like that. Okay. So yeah, you were saying there is IT industry, and what are the other industries that we are aware of?
Banking.
Banking, great.
Real estate.
I missed that. Can you come again?
Real estate.
Real estate, great. Okay, good. So far, so good. Yes. So when you look at the top industries that are on a hiring spree, there are 11 industries that are on a hiring spree. Like somebody just pointed out, the first one is banking, real estate, here particularly in terms of construction, IT, we all know. So manufacturing and even the NGOs, the not-for-profit organizations are also looking for talent. So these are the top 11 industries that are on a hiring spree now. So in case you're wondering which is the best industry, to make a switch, or which is the best industry that I should be taking some career so that I can land a job here, these are the trending 11 industries right now. And any guesses what is the role, in-demand role now? Any guesses? What could be the in-demand role that people are really seeking to hire?
Software developer.
Software developer. Okay, good. Any other guesses?
Business analytics.
Business analytics. You're all right. But relatively, mostly the digital roles are the in-demand roles for all these 11 industries. So when we say digital, it's more, digital marketing and, anything to do with the digital aspects of these businesses. So that is more in-demand role. So does that mean the other roles are not there? No, it's nothing like that. But when you ask these industries, what are the kind of role that they really need, their key roles fall into this bucket. So this is where the future, at least this year, is in. Now, okay, the hiring trend is good. Let's see who are hiring our people. So there are 4 company sizes given. Of course, we all know the micro organization, which is less than 10 people. Then here we have 10 to 49 small size organizations, the medium and the large size. So 57% of our employment is in the larger organizations, as we know. So they are the major hirers. Of course, the trend is also towards the growing companies, which are more in terms of the medium companies. They are growing. And that is also a major attractive place for the talent. So these are the major companies that hire the talent in the current market. And another good thing is now most of the organizations are embracing a hybrid work environment. Of course, there are many industries, almost all will work from home at some point. And now we are returning back to work. Most organizations have beautifully blended the work from home and work from office and are calling themselves as hybrid work environment, which serves as another major attractive factor for the talent. If an organization says we are completely work from home, there is a different set of talent that likes such a policy. If an organization says we are completely work from office, there are also a different set of talent who prefers that. But hybrid is one of the most available policy among the companies now, and it is also well received. You work 2 days in office, 3 days at home. You go to office, in a month, so many days, and not. So that all the flexible policies are another important reason why the talent find these organizations attractive. Any questions so far? I'll take a pause here. You can ask me any questions if you have. If no questions, I'll proceed further. Can I proceed further?
Please.
Yes.
Great. So now we have seen that, okay, the market is good. Oh, I'm changing the slide. You're able to see my slide, right?
No, it's still in demand industries and rules.
That's bad. Okay. Is my slide
Yeah,
visible?
now it's visible.
Okay. I'm
Skill
just going
gap
to keep it like
identification.
this. Okay. What is the slide now?
Skill gap
Great.
identification.
Yes. Okay. So far we have discussed that, okay, it's the employment outlook in India is good, especially the July to September quarter. We are going to see, 8 folds it's going to go. We know the kind of companies that are hiring talent and everything is good. But we also see increasing reports that there are many people who are unemployed. Many people who are not able to find jobs. Why is it? Why do you think it is so? We know that everything is good. The reports say that, we are amazing in a right phase in terms of employment. But we also see more and more people unemployed, are not able to find jobs, or, multiple things. Why do you think that they're not able to find jobs? Or why are the companies not hiring?
The one reason what I see from from an employee point of view is probably people post COVID they were become more staying in their comfortable zone,
Okay.
not ready to learn new things
Right.
or taking challenging opportunities or moving going for office or relocating kind of things are not preferred.
Yeah.
And even the survey we got to know that when companies asked to work from office and more than 70 to 80% people want to quit the job. So these
You're
kind
right.
of things are increasing.
Yes, good. That is one reason. Yes, what you said is absolutely right. More and more companies are facing high number of resignations because people are not able to come back to a full-time office mode. That is one reason. Very good. Anybody else with a different perspective? What could be other reasons? Okay, so we have seen the job market is very bullish, but why is there still an employment gap? The gap is because of the skill and the demand and the supply gap. That is, let's say, for example, there are enough and more number of jobs in the market, but are our people, that is the talent, rightly equipped for that job? So that is where the skill and the skill gap exists. So we all agree that there is a correlation between the skill you hold and the kind of job you do. Yes? There is a relationship, right? For the skill you have and the kind of job you do in a company, there is always a relationship. Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes. So when that gap is high, that is the skill need and the kind of job that's there in the market, when the gap is high, that's when we find this unemployability going higher and higher. So my understanding is that do we know the difference between unemployment and unemployability? These are two different words. Are you able to make out the difference of between unemployment and unemployability? Anybody who can make out the difference between these two terms?
Unemployment is people have talent but they've not got the job. So unemployability is that people don't have that skill to get the job.
Very good. Yes. Unemployability is what we are talking when it comes to picking the right career. That is, I do not have the skill that the job demands. So obviously, I'm not going to get hired. So now, if you look into this unemployability a little more deeper, so this is more or less a national phenomena. So onto my left, it is a data by the India Skill Report. It's accessible for all. It's on the public domain. If you see, you will be able to understand that. See, in a year, let's say in 2022, we had 100% of graduates, out of which only 46% are employable. When we say employable, they are the only ones who had the right skill for the kind of job that was offered. So the rest, close to 50% of the people, are not employable, which means they did not have the skill sets that were required to perform a certain job. For example, I spent 4 years studying engineering, but once I graduate, I'm not able to find a job. It could be because many factors put together. There are various reasons for it, but one primary reason is that the companies feel that the student is not equipped to do a certain role, which means they lack very many skills that are absolutely necessary for an engineer or whatever profession that they have qualified. So that number is huge when compared to people who can actually work. So this is why that unemployability, the skill and the job role gap is high. It is increasing. While we see that market trend for job is good, but this gap is also increasing. And if you look, this is this year's data, 2022. So according to this report, if you see Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, and Kerala are the states that are providing talent for the, the most of the talent come from these states. This is based on this particular report. Now, when you look the overall Indian context, in a year, we have at least 1.3 billion students who are graduating, and out of which, when you take only the engineering sector, only 80% of the people are employable, which means, only 20% of the people are employable, which means most of them, 80% of the people lack skills that are necessary to make them an engineer in the first place. So this is where, tuning ourselves, we require guidance to pick the right kind of career. Now, we might be studying engineering and end up saying it is not a degree that I wanted to take. I wanted to do journalism, but my parents forced me to take engineering. I wanted to do this, but I had no choice. My friends were all doing this, so I ended up taking. So most of our decisions, at least crucial decisions, are decided. It's more of a collective decision that forces children to take a course which is not their first preference. Thereby, the outcome and the output after the graduate is not in the most preferable state. So that is why there is this gap. So how do we address this gap? That is the question we are now going to discuss. Any questions so far? You can also give in your observations. Most of you are from the industry, you are working, you are hiring for your teams. What do you think? What is your experience so far? Any thoughts there?
Ma'am, this is Sajita here.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of heading the HR. So just wanted to understand that you said there is a skill gap, right? So
Right.
what the finding is nowadays, the candidates are kind of trying to cover up that skills by adding a fake experience that is kind of impacting us to identify whether are they really skilled or not. So how do we overcome this situation?
Right. So this is one of our
Why do
problems.
they do this? Or one of this is unemployment that is happening in the country. That is something that, yes, we understand.
Yeah.
But is this kind of going to be a trend? So how do we identify? Because most of the cases are being like fake experiences.
Yes. So, yes, thank you for pointing it out. More and more recruiters, the employers, face this these days. So, what they do is they go back and correct their hiring, hiring interviewing method itself, their selection process itself, they're going and reworking. For example, I'm recently in one of the symposium, there was a HR from one of the MNC saying that there was a candidate who had given the ditto skills that the job role was looking for. Now, it is not, unusual that you find a candidate, but this candidate's resume looked so good to be true. So what they did is they wanted to ensure that what the candidate has given in the resume is right. So so always in the interview process, there's always a technical and the people related skill assessments, both of which happen. So in this particular company, they tightened their technical skills. So for any job role, they say if this skill is important, even if it is as simple as C++, they ensure that they assess the candidate's skill. So for everything, they have a project-based assessment. So the drawback to this is the hiring cycle might be a little longer, but they say that with I think he used the number 86%. With 86% of reliability, they are able to pick the right kind of talent, though the cycle is a little longer. Because everybody wants a job, and we all know that we should tweak our resume to suit the job description. People end up doing that. So I think as employers, we are also becoming smarter and smarter, the ensuring that we test all the skills that they share in the resume. This is one way. I'm sure people practicing might have many other ways to identify these kind of fake talent in the market as well. So your organization might also come up with a different mechanism, but this is one tried and tested model where they use project based. They call it as the litmus test. So they give, for each of the talent that they have described, they give a project with a stipulated time period, and they assess the candidate. So this is one way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. What about
one more I feel is the reason they want to put a fake experiences. If they mention they are fresher, they want to do this. The very straight answer is you are a fresher. They're not even been called. So sometimes what it happens with some of the softwares or some of the functional consulting kind of jobs, even the coaching centers, even some of the coaches are giving a very wrong suggestion of, put as it is. At least you'll get a call. So from there you can try couple of errors, you will get a job. And even more than this, there is one more problem which is arising. That is, they are cracking the interview, but the performance is very poor. So this is one more thing which is highlighted. Even I just checked based on the industry. Most people try to crack it somehow. They get the best offer, but they fail it, and due to which they're getting fired very soon.
Yeah, I think it is a never-ending loop. This is something which the industry will have to keep on dealing, I guess. But we will always have some mechanism to address it. Good thought. Anybody else with any other?
So I have an input here because I've been a head of HR. So you know how we eliminate this issue of performance and what they're trying to say. We introduce more and more of a BEI kind of interviews. That is behavioral event interviewing. That's a technique that we adopt, where we give them situations to see, because we believe that a past performance is also predicting into the future way how they handle it. This gives a lot of clue as to how are they behaving in a similar situation. So if they faked their CV, then this will come out in the interview. So we can see through that. So this is something which a lot of HRs needs to practice on. I am a specialist in this because this is something that I have done, and I would like to reach out to people to be very scientific in the interviews. Just don't ask questions that you're very fond of asking. That's not correct. Thank you.
Yeah. Good thought. Okay. So now we are in the phase of how to choose a right career. So before getting into this particular topic, I would like to, throw in a point here. Assuming that for us to be successful in any profession that we pick or any career that we choose, if skills and passion are important, there is another third pillar that is equally important. What is it? For you to be a successful head HR, or for you to be a successful, anything, business analyst, no matter what your career choice is, if we are saying there are three important pillars for you to be successful in that or happy in that particular career, skills is one important thing. The second pillar is passion. And what is the third pillar?
Knowledge.
Knowledge. I'm going to take your points now. We will come back to this in a while. Knowledge.
Communication.
Communication.
Attitude.
Attitude. Somebody in between the attitude said something. Salary. Okay. Any other pointers? Okay. Knowledge, communication, attitude, salary. We will come to this point. So others who are not able to think, please take this time to think about it. So now, most of you are in a very, very stable state when it comes to your career. But what I'm going to tell is for somebody who is going to start. I kind of assumed that our audience will be somebody who are, in the early stages on how to choose a career. So I have put down some simple, very, very simple steps. So I want all of you to go back to your paper and pen where you written down your three career choices. The same paper and pen. Okay. So the first step in choosing the right career is to assess yourself. That is the first, that's a default step. Most of us might miss out that step, but now we have advanced so much that we can always take help of psychometric assessments, understand what is our personality and what kind of career option suits our personality, etc. So that is the baseline. Now comes the second one, which you have already written down, your three career interests. That is a second step to follow. That is a second step in the direction of picking the right career. So now the third step is academic performance and career interest match. For example, so again, I'm going to put a disclaimer. This is for somebody who is starting out fresh. It could be, I've just graduated my 12th. What do I take up in college? I just finished my undergraduation. What do I specialize in PG? Okay, I finished my PG. I am in my entry level, but I'm not sure what do I do. When in those confused states of mind, probably this would come handy. Now, assuming that when you look into your sheet, you have choice one, for example, engineer. This is just an example. Look down into your sheet and list down what are the academic aspects that are very relevant for an engineer, core subjects. I mean, for example, if I have chosen engineering as my first career choice, I think it is automatic that for us to think that I should be doing well in maths in school. Correct? Don't you think? For an engineer, an analytical skill is very, very important. Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes. So now for choice one, I give engineering, and under my academic performance, if my math, I don't score good in maths. I find maths extremely difficult. But if I've had my first choice as an engineering, that is a question mark. My aptitude and my marks, the aptitude itself is not matching my career choice. Now you may ask, okay, for engineering, that's fine. What do I do if I want to become an artist or I want to become a sports person? I want to become a musician. How do I know my aptitude? Now, for such question, let's say your second choice is, I want to become a musician. Any instrument, anything, I want to become a musician. Now, if you want to look into academic performance, there may or may not be subject relevant to it, but you can always assess, do I participate in more school competitions? Do I perform in front of large audience? Have I participated or have I put in extra effort to do multiple courses that will support my music interest, etc.? Third choice, I want to become a sports person. If I want to become a sports person, I should start reflecting it right from my school. Am I good in sports? Am I really a team person? Or am I an individual person? Do I participate in more sports events? Have I participated in school or district level events, etc.? So these are kind of simple questions that you can ask against each of your career choice to assess if your aptitude is there. So that is one way to match your academic performance and your career interest. Now, for all those who are seasoned in their own professions, you might find it very, very simple. But for those who are starting out, this could help them. And the point 4 is, now let's understand your career interest. Maybe for those who are seasoned, there could be someone coming and asking your advice, right? You can follow a similar step. Now, understanding your career interest better. For example, my first choice is engineering. And my second choice, can somebody read out your choices? Maybe I'll be able to relate it better. What are your 3 choices that you have made? Somebody from the audience? Come on. Oh, it can't be that quiet, please.
Money here. I would like to become a software developer or a testing or a full stack. All are interrelated, but.
Okay. So you have chosen, okay, I'm assuming you're already working, are you?
Beginning of my career.
Okay, beginning of your career. So you have already chosen in the same line of work, right? So, for example, if these are the 3 choices that you have right in front of you, as somebody who is starting out, to understand all of these career better, speak to people who have taken that profession. Speak to people whom you think have done really well in that line of work. It could be anybody. If you are in school, I want to become an engineer, speak to your teachers. Do you know any uncles or your friends' dads who are engineers? And in case if you want to become a software developer, anybody in your organization who you think is excellent in it, speak to them, interact with them to understand about that profession better. What are the skill sets that you would require or you should develop in order to excel in it? So when we talk to people...
Sorry to interrupt, Doctor. But how to select that right person? That also is a challenge.
Yes. So I do not have, a ready-made answer for that question at all, because a role model is somebody very, very subjective. Though we can say somebody who is successful in a particular domain, we can consider an expert in that domain, of course, is a role model, whom you think, yes, that person has really achieved in that field. Or it could be even, let's say, for example, a student who is in 12th, for him or her, an engineer could be any engineer, need not necessarily be a successful person. It could be his uncle who has just finished an engineering and has taken up a job in a company. It could be as simple as that. Because our objective here is for us to understand that career better. Is that really my interest? Or have I really not really thought through? Why I'm pointing this out is, as a career counselor, I sometimes receive students who say that I want to become a police officer. Great. What does a police officer do? Catch bad guys. Fair enough. Do you have a role model? I want to become like, that Kaka Surya. So they take their inspiration. I'm not saying that inspiration is wrong, but the student has taken an inspiration without sufficient information. There is no much research. There is no need for 100% research, but a little bit of understanding. What kind of police do you want to become? What do police usually do? Do you know somebody? Have you met any police officer? Would you like to meet someone? These kind of questions can be asked so that we can help the person think a little, one level down. You can also do self-research. You can take support of any, friends or adults or anybody in your network. So this way we can help the person explore their choices better. For example, I want to become a lawyer. How can I become a lawyer? Because there's nobody in my family who is a lawyer. So I do my own research. I speak to my teachers. Maybe I tell my friends, hey, do you have somebody who is a lawyer in your family? I would like to speak to that person. So we can go a level deeper. That is the fourth step. The fifth step is, I put it as a student. It can be a student. It can be you, anybody. So, and most cases I put it as student and parent because that is where the real, friction between what I want and what they want actually crops. So assuming that I'm in 12th, I'm least interested in engineering. I want to do psychology, but my parents forced me to do engineering. This is an example, okay? So there is this confusion. So if I have to, it is always better to interact with your parents openly. It could be parents, it could be spouses, it could be your friends, anybody. Interact openly and tell them about your interests. When there is a friction, always seek an external guidance or support. So the external expert can help the other person understand better. And the last step or for the successful execution of this is create a developmental plan. Plan A, B, and C. 3 plans. The reason that we have 3 plans is, okay, I don't score good enough marks to become an engineer. Or for whatever reasons, I'm not successful as an engineer. Okay, I cannot take that up. What's my next preference? Journalism. If I want to get into journalism, I have to take it up with the same enthusiasm I would do for an engineering. Or my third choice is, let's say, for example, environmental science. I should take all of these 3 choices with the same enthusiasm I would for the choice 1. So now let's say, for example, no matter what, I want to become an engineer. My math aptitude is not so great, but I am determined to become an engineer. So the developmental plan would become to develop my aptitude. Simple steps of, doing more puzzles to, doing participating in Olympiads at a slightly higher level, but still, simple steps towards achieving your goals. So plan A, plan B, and C for all your interests. So this is one simple way towards choosing your right career path. So as an established person, this may be relevant, may not be relevant, but it becomes handy when you are guiding someone in choosing a right career path. So I'll take a moment here. If you have any questions, you may ask me now. I think I'm overshooting the time, so any questions here? Was this simple enough to understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, great. So the next one to discuss is about the required skill sets. Now, we all know there are 2 different skill sets that are broadly understood, one being the technical and the other being the people skills or the soft skills. Now, they use different terms to explain these 2, but let's stick to technical and soft skills. Now, I'm assuming this is too small for you to see, but here, if you look at the trending skills as on 2022, this is given to us by Coursera. So my understanding is all of you know the Coursera online learning platform. So they have done a study through, analyzing all their learners over the years, and they have understood that in India, this data is specifically for India, and they have even given state-wise data, but I didn't want to go that deeper. The most commonly studied are business, technology, and data science. So the skills that are under these are the trending skills. If you look at business, it's broadly business, but you have entrepreneurship under it, you have communication, you have leadership management. So these are some of the skills that the companies are looking for, or people are picking up because the market needs it. So these three, when it comes to technical, and when it comes to soft skills, there are other aspects like creativity, persuasion, collaboration, adaptability, emotional intelligence. These are top 5 given by LinkedIn. While there are many others, as a recruiter, you would know what skill your company requires as well. So this is the trending soft skills given by LinkedIn. So now what happens is most of these skills can be acquired as part of the course, and most of these skills require some extra effort in acquiring. So this is beyond the traditional scope of education. So this is where the employability of an individual will depend on many of these soft skills or the people skills that we are talking about. So we have seen 2 types of skills. Now we want to know what are the trending jobs. So I have just taken one piece. This is again too small. If I put it on the slide share, can you see this? Now, is it visible? It is too small. Now, is it barely seeable? I can definitely share this content with you. It's all available on the public domain, nothing of my brains. So if you see here, this is a research done by Adobe, and Adobe has listed the top trending jobs of 2022. So of course, most of it falls in business development and sales. We know data science, engineering, and front-end developer and web developer, then user experience, digital content, and digital marketing. And other fields include education, workplace diversity, and coaching and mental health. So these are the trending jobs of 2022, according to Adobe. Okay, so I'm sure that most of us understand that, most of us agree that when it comes to, this digital content is one of the in-demand role. We already saw it based on a survey. So this is what it is proving again. And all of these courses are in sync with the Coursera's in-demand courses as well. So these are the top jobs for 2022. And if you look here, when we say top jobs, maybe there were jobs which were highly preferred at one point in time, is no longer relevant. And it is also our responsibility that when we are recommending a career or we are guiding someone to pick a right career, as a person who is in a position of, authority, or more in a responsible position, it is necessary that we also understand and guide them appropriately. There could be certain jobs that are losing its sheen, we know it. So it's better we guide our people appropriately. So with all the automation and the AI in place, we know that 6 out of 10 jobs that we do now are going to be automated, are going to be replaced. Whether we like it, don't like it, we agree, don't agree it, but that's what it is. Does that mean all of us will lose our jobs? No. We are evolving the job roles. As and when things are changing, we are changing to suit it. So every job role that will disappear in future is also evolving. That's why we are upskilling and reskilling ourselves to meet the demands of the future. There could be many jobs, more repetitive and low efficient jobs that might move out of the market. And the highly efficient, whichever requires people interference, will always remain. However, we have to upgrade ourselves to whatever technology or upgradation it happens in that field. So this is with respect to disappearing jobs and the current jobs. Now, with this, I am finishing my presentation from understanding the market trend in India now. how we were, and what are the gaps, and why, and how do we choose a right career? What are the skill sets that our companies are really looking for, and what are the hot jobs that are in demand now? The last point that I would like to highlight is about assessments. So when I say assessments, I'm primarily talking about a scientific method of approaching or assessing an individual for any reason. For that, it could be, in most cases, it could be interviewing, for example, or it could even be for choosing a right career. Assessments, psychometric assessments precisely, they will tell us our suitability. How suitable am I to a particular profession based on the personality traits that I have? Okay. If this is not suitable, what is that I should develop so that I can become suitable? So here, particularly, I would like to highlight the assessment tool called MCMF because I'm part of it. So MCMF is a psychometric assessment tool, which is a self-assessment. You assess yourself. At the end of the assessment, you will get to know what are your dominant personality strengths and what are the suitable career options. Also, the skills that you will have to develop for the areas of your choice. So choosing a right career path, at least these days, begin with a good scientific assessment. Whenever we are taking a support, external support, it's better we begin our research with a proper self-assessment so that we validate our strengths and our areas for development.
Ma'am, what did you say was the name of the assessment?
It is called My Choice, My Future, MCMF.
Okay.
I can leave it in the chat box. Okay. And the last point again. So as I said, to be successful, to be happy in a profession that we pick, skills, passion. And the third column, most of you said, it could be knowledge, it could be communication, it could be aptitude. Somebody said it could be salary. Any other thoughts? Okay, so I am going to stick with the person who said it's salary. See, when we are recommending people jobs, sometimes we overlook the aspect of money. When I say recommending, I mean to say when we are guiding a person, we overlook the prospect of financial stability. So any career that what we pick or what we recommend or guide another person to pick, we should keep in mind the job's financial stability. Whether it is our parents suggest us to do a particular profession because they think in the long run, this will help my child with, money, right? So that is one aspect we should keep in mind. Financial stability, economic stability is one aspect we should keep in mind when we are picking a career option. Let's say, for example, I want to become an engineer. I would say that if I have to take an example, let's take example of Sachin Tendulkar. Okay, he has the right skills to be a cricketer. He's really passionate about his cricketing, and also he has made money. It's not he has made money, but they're also able to make good money. So any profession that has a mix of these three will make the individual successful in it. Because most of the times we end up taking a profession which is primarily our passion, and we may not be able to see a financial stability in it that might affect us in the long run. So these three aspects are absolutely important for us. Okay, so with that, I finish my presentation. So if you have any questions, I'm open to questions. Sorry, Ajay, I've overshot the time a little bit. So, yeah. Yes. So I can share the link. If we will also be sharing a feedback link, you can register on that. If you're really interested, if we see there's a good interest, we will also share the link of the assessment. You can take the assessment there. We'll be happy to do that. Yes. I'm open to questions. Please, it's not just questions. It could be your own thoughts, your own experiences. Please feel free.
This my choice, my
Dr.
future.
Mani here. Generally, we take a career and sometimes we may not be happy with the career. So we may have a career change. So generally, while planning the career, do you suggest like when we have to change the career or where we can really feel that it is high time that we should make a change in the career because we would have assessed our skill basket less or we would have assessed our passions less or we would have taken a wrong mentor. So when this actual point of inclination comes where we have to change our career?
Um, there is no specific timeline, but the moment you understand as an individual that this is a place I no longer want to be, that is the time. And any assessment that we do is definitely does not come with a long-term guarantee. For example, when I'm particularly talking from the perspective of assessments. Let's say that I'm in 12th standard and I take up an assessment. My assessment will only tell me what is good for my next step, which means it will help me. I'm in a confused state, so it will help me make the decision for an immediate one, which is my undergraduate degree. So if you say an assessment which I took in 12th will hold true when I become, 30, no. So based on the skill sets, based on our passion, based on our exposure in the world, our preferences change. And the moment we think that, yeah, I want to do something different, that is the time for us to relook into it. So timeline, no, there's no timeline, but there is no one-stop solution for it as well.
Thanks, Doctor.
Yeah.
Ma'am, there's one question like the academics and the skills are kind of not matching. Suppose, like, to give an example, like I might be in engineering but doing a kind of HR job, or I might. And so, how do we kind of like basically most of the companies says that you need to be strong in your academics, right? Only then
Right.
you. So, is that trend changing now? Can you just put some insights on that?
Is the trend changing? Yes. For one reason, if you see more and more companies are looking into not necessarily the academic achievement of a person.
Do we have to read into the current skills that they have, where
yes,
academics
yes.
can?
Whatever skill is in trend, and a skill becomes a trend only when more and more companies are looking for that particular skill. So the companies are, it also depends on the company's philosophy, because let's say some popular companies, if you take Google or many companies for that matter, Cred and etc., they do not necessarily look for a perfect correlation between your engineering and your academic achievements. They have people from different fields, but the skill sets match. Right, so that is more and more becoming important, and it's if you when that is the trend, if you have your academics and your degree perfectly matching, you're the odd one out, lucky enough. But the philosophy of the company itself is changing lately. They are more than willing to consider people who possess the right kind of skill sets than a bookish definition of what a candidate should be.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dr. Priya, so this is Bala here.
Yes, Bala.
I've been in a different scale. Like, I never choose any career. So it has started with something and gone like different aspects. Like, for example, I was part of accounting department initially. Then based on my talent, whatever recognitions, I moved to project management. Then moved to training department. Then moved to techno finance and currently into project management. So what I basically see is I can be flexible for many roles,
Right.
but when it comes to, like, jack of all kind of kind of situation too. So I'm
Right.
just thinking, what kind of things on a long run with this experience I can become a lead or kind of things. But when it comes to focus of one particular role, I see there are, for choosing countries also. For Australia, some people are telling choose any one, but I can choose 10 because many job roles are matching with my skills. So, what you suggest how to take it? So, or should I concentrate something?
Uh, should you concentrate? See, it has worked so well for you all these years, right? Hasn't it?
Yes,
You have
yes,
done
yes.
multiple
All my
things.
all my different roles have been the at least I can say top three best performer. One of the.
Yes. See, that's a rare talent to find. I'm not. I don't think all of us can say with the same confidence that I'm good in everything. But if you are, you should value it and cherish it. So it is one of the privileges that you have. For Australia, if you want to pick one out of the 10, you can pick one and go there. So I think that's a rare kind of a gift that people can have, and you should cherish it. But the other aspect, the other side is, let's say there is somebody who is coming and seeking a guidance from you. For example, somebody is coming and saying, Bala, can you help me out? I'm confused of what to take. So now when we give guidance to somebody, or when we are, directing someone towards a particular direction, it is always better we take a more scientific approach. We cannot say that because this worked for me, it will work for you. Because it worked for Bala, 10 different fields, Bala cannot recommend that to me, right? So
Obviously.
it worked for you, carry on. But at some point, when you think that, okay, I need to do something different, you can always take a step back, assess again scientifically. But for some, if somebody is coming to you for an advice, please help them approach it more scientifically through assessments, or through many ways. There are not necessarily one particular assessment, multiple ways, but more of a scientific approach, so that that person does not feel lost after a time, some point. And
So,
also,
sorry,
yes.
sorry to interrupt. So, exactly, I do the same thing. Like, when an engineer approaches me or a finance guy approaches me, I simply ask him one thing. So, even at midnight, 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock, if I ask to do something, what it is passionate to you, you think that even at your sleep, you can think of that and you can work on that. Probably that is the area where you need to focus on, rather than focusing multiple things. So my problem is, as I've been multiple activities, getting into one and becoming expert kind of thing was a challenge. So that is one area where I'm thinking that I need to focus on.
Maybe that is your personality. We don't know. So you can assess yourself there. Is your personality type that simply cannot go with one aspect? That's again a personality type. So again, as I said, you can scientifically approach to understand yourself better. If that is not yours, you better not venture into it.
Okay, probably I think I will work on it. Probably
Yeah.
I can connect you through LinkedIn. Thank you.
Sure. Please do, Bala. Yeah. That sounds great. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. My name is Priyadharshini. You can always find me on LinkedIn. And yes, so I think, Ajay, over to you. Thank you. Thank you, Ajay. Thank you, Ajay. Thank you, everyone. I hope you had at least a small, one or two, or even a tiny takeaway from this session. I think if there was at least a tiny one, it still is a successful one. I hope you can spread joy and awareness to others as well. Thank you all again. Thank you, Ajay. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.